It sounds like her big mistakes are just white guys.
They cure all the cancers and give cancer to one of your enemies.
I would say I'll watch anything with Danny Glover in it. I don't give a shit.
Oh, hey, this is the Marianas Trench. Welcome to the abyss. Anyway, so that's how you join QAnon.
Sushi jackknife. 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 Sushi jackknife.
Oh, 31 seconds now.
Oh, 31 seconds. Well,
Now 36 seconds we've been recording.
look at that. And on my end, 9. Now 11. This is the episode where we count things.
You know, I think it means a lot that I have recorded over 30 seconds more podcasts than you have.
There's something to that for sure.
Yeah, it means that my dedication to the craft of recording you know, that.
Unsurpassed. Unsurpassed.
I'm essentially the Dr. Dre of podcasts.
Oh, Dr. Dre. Prayers for Dr. Dre.
He's supposedly okay at this point.
Oh, he is? Okay. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if Dre was okay. I don't think I could handle it if something bad happened to Dr. Dre this week. Fuck.
It's a 2021's not starting out great.
Nope. All that shit about bye-bye 2020. You know, we don't want to admit it to ourselves, but the truth is, it's all arbitrary. Like, like when a year ends and another begins.
That's not arbitrary.
It's arbitrary, right?
No. Pope Gregory was
was
told how to make this calendar by God.
Right. That's right. Okay.
And God went every December 31st on the calendar of me. Everyone shall get completely plastered.
Oh, shit hammered.
And then wake up on January 1st of the next year going, this year is going to be different. Before they go vomit because their hangover has taken over.
I'm going to drink less this year. I'm going to take better care of myself. I'm going to exercise.
How many people who make the New Year's resolution that I'm going to drink less
Yeah.
are only doing it because the night before they drank more than any other night during the year?
I think that's it. That's it. And really, if you want to break it down, what you should do is just build your tolerance all year so that when you inevitably drink too much on New Year's Eve, you're fine.
Wow, okay.
You know, I mean, let's invert
that adds
this.
up, Dr. Oz. I like it.
Thank you. I also have these tablets for you to buy. They're $40. Mm-hmm. And you will need 12 of them a day.
But they cure all the cancers.
They're my Oz tablets. Here.
They cure all the cancers and give cancer to one of your enemies. So it's worth the cost, right?
It never occurred to me before, but like, you know, Dr. Oz, being that he's full of shit, it's kind of perfect that his name is Oz. Mm-hmm. You know?
It was either very fortuitous or very poor planning on his part to market himself that way. That's not his last name, right?
I thought it was like short for his. I think it's short for his last name, his real last name. Yeah, but no, he's not related to Frank Oz, the man who played Yoda and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's not related to anyone important. He's also not really a doctor.
I mean,
he's a doctor, but he's not a doctor.
He's not like a doctor you trust.
He's a doctor like Dr. Phil is a psychologist.
That's correct. Yeah.
They did things at some point. And then Oprah found them, gave them a bunch of money, and now they go on Fox News and spout off nonsense.
That's how it works, people. Bada bing, bada boom.
It's the circle of medicine.
Oh, by the way, if you tickle yourself with this Brazilian feather every night, your hair will grow back.
Really?
Yeah, it's Dr. Oz.
Sounds legit.
Yep, they only come from the jungle. It's really sad. We have to burn down the entire jungle to get them.
People worship Oprah.
They do.
People love Oprah.
They do.
I think Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil are two strong reasons that people probably need to go, I mean, I guess Oprah's fine, but she's not that great.
we do. And I don't want to take anything away from Oprah, but I think at some point we need to have a reassessment of her of her legacy. Don't you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, she's way too high. Okay, so we've had the Nathan's underrated and overrated musicians conversations in just general pop culture celebrity status.
Yes.
Oprah, way overrated.
Oh, 1,000,000%. I agree. Yeah.
And before anyone gets upset, it has nothing to do with her race or her gender.
Nope.
She's just fine. Also, admittedly, I'm not her market.
You're not. Neither am I.
This is like when I say Ariana Grande's overrated. I'm fully aware. Ariana Grande's not making music for me.
No. Well, she maybe secretly it's all for you, Nathan. I don't know.
She's doing a poor job then.
No, Oprah. Okay, while certainly in her early career, let's say, she was a trailblazer, right? We're not taking anything away from.
No, that she definitely did.
Yeah. However, she made some mistakes along the way, and she's enough of a public. Whenever you're a public figure, you open yourself up to criticism by idiots who don't know anything.
That's true.
And so here we are.
That's why you shouldn't have been one. No, it's people think she's infallible.
Right.
When we can point, as we just did, to two very direct indications that she's not infallible.
Well, it sounds like her big mistakes are just white guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Which we tend to do that.
Yeah. You mean B mistakes?
Yeah, as a white male, we tend to show up and just ruin anything that was good.
Yeah. It's true.
So it was like, Oprah had her show, she's cruising along, doing her thing, doing great. Dr. Phil,
Downturned. Big downturn.
Dr. Oz,
Another downturn.
And, now she has the O Network that I assume someone somewhere watches, but I don't know who.
Yeah, it's a bummer that that's not the Orgasm Network. I'm just saying.
I mean, I've never watched it. I don't know. It might be. I don't know what she does on her network.
This is a left turn, but when Roy Orbison was big in the 60s, they referred to him as the Big O.
Yeah.
I just had to put that out there. They deserve a crossover, Oprah and the ghost of Roy Orbison.
Yeah. If anyone were to interview the ghost of Roy Orbison, Oprah could get a good interview.
Oh, for sure.
She's very good at interviews.
Absolutely good at interviews.
I think that's the thing here. None of her skill. I can't knock anything of her abilities.
Right.
Aside from her ability to choose white doctor men. That's it.
Yeah.
And I mean, every great has their weakness, Well, hers is white doctor men. Shaq's was free throws. He can't shoot a free throw. Oprah can't pick a white doctor man.
I think Shaq has at least one more, which is he should not be in movies.
No, he definitely should be in movies. He should be in all the movies.
Every movie.
I want you to think about if Shaq had been in Saving Private Ryan.
Wow.
How great that portion of Saving Private Ryan would have been.
The beach.
Just think about
the beach scene.
Oh man!
If Shaq was in,
Yeah.
Okay. If what is he? 7 feet tall?
7'1".
7'1". Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure. Forgive me here for pulling your idea apart a little bit. I'm not sure that being 7 foot and 1 inch tall does you any favor. I can't speak. Does you any favors on the beach at Normandy?
No, it doesn't help you.
You're just a bigger target.
Yeah, but he's golden. He's Shaq. Like he'll make it as long as he doesn't have to shoot a free throw to get off the beach in Normandy.
As long as he just keeps dunking those grenades, we're in good shape.
Exactly. Or think about if you could go back in time and have him in Philadelphia instead of Tom Hanks.
Wow.
Like, wouldn't that be a great movie?
I'm not. I don't know how I feel.
Like, Tom Hanks got an Oscar for that. Imagine how many Oscars Shaq would get.
Oh, well, twice as many at least. 4 times. Yeah.
He's 4 times the human that Tom Hanks is, size-wise, not anything else. So he deserves 4 Oscars.
I love Philadelphia, and I love the Bruce Springsteen song, Streets of Philadelphia. I love that song. By the way, if Shaq were in Philadelphia, that Bruce Springsteen song would have a Shaq verse in it. Oh my God. That would kind of be great, actually.
Yeah. See, you're coming around. It's a good idea.
I am. You're talking me into it. What can I say?
This is what that deepfake software was made for. I need someone to go through and deepfake Shaq into every movie.
Every Oscar-winning movie you can think of.
Yeah. Have him play Julia Childs. That would be great. I'd enjoy that.
Why did that get an Oscar?
I don't know.
Was it one of those years where they needed to give Meryl Streep a catch-up Oscar?
She hadn't earned one in a couple Oscars, and they're like, well, I guess we got to give her one now. I don't know.
She's clearly the best. Like, her and, I don't know, like, De Niro, or like, I don't know. Is that a good one? That's a good example.
That's a good, I
or like,
that...
and, Pacino up to a point, probably. Or like the best actors alive right now, right?
Yeah, Denzel. Throw Denzel in there.
Denzel, yeah. Thank you. Denzel's.
It's hard to knock a Denzel.
It is.
Denzel role.
What's the
even the bad movies he's in?
True.
You're like, that movie was pretty bad. Denzel did good though.
He elevates anything that he's in for sure. Like, what's the last Denzel Washington movie I saw? I don't know. It's not like
It's been a minute.
Yeah, I don't watch an insane amount of movies. Like, I don't watch everything that comes out, for sure.
What?
I know. It's shocking. It's
not
shocking.
Everything?
Not even most of everything. I watch very little that comes out, truthfully.
You should watch all Denzel Washington movies.
We could have a Sushi Jackknife Denzel Washington Film Festival. I'd watch Malcolm X again. That's a great movie.
Oh, see, I haven't watched this yet, and I was ready. I'm ready to watch it. I just keep forgetting about it.
Malcolm X?
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. He's in that.
Oh, okay.
He's also playing Lord Macbeth in an adaptation of Macbeth.
I'd like to see that. I like Shakespeare adaptations.
I do too.
Yeah, even Shakespeare adaptations with Mel Gibson in them. Unfortunately, but
okay. Let's be real here.
Okay,
Mel Gibson's good.
Yeah,
he's a terrible human being.
Yeah, but it doesn't make him a bad actor. He's a good actor.
He's a very good actor.
Yeah. And
as a person, he sucks. But.
Right. But put a camera on him, and he's all right. I love Lethal Weapon 1 and 2. I love those movies.
Those two are good.
I really have a strong affection for them.
And then the other Lethal Weapons I also watched.
Yeah, they exist.
Yeah. They're there. They're the movies that you go, well, I've seen the first two. They're like The Godfather 3.
Right, yeah. Right.
Like, no one really cared.
You know,
by the time Godfather 3 came around.
No, the first two are so slamming, you don't give a shit anymore.
You're just like, fine, let's just wrap it up. Come on.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Lethal Weapon, man, I don't know. I probably that was probably an example of a movie that I saw at an impressionable age. And you know, I wouldn't let my kid who's 7, I wouldn't let my 7-year-old watch Lethal Weapon. Now, there's so much guns and drugs and sex in that movie. I mean, it's amazing.
I'm trying to remember how much is in it.
A lot. And
I mean, I know a lot of guns and a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
A lot of sex?
A fair amount of sex. Maybe there's more sex in Lethal Weapon 2, because I feel like...
I think Lethal Weapon 2 had a good amount. Lethal Weapon 1 is just mostly Mel Gibson walking around being upset about his wife.
Well, and he does put a gun in his mouth.
Yeah, that is
so. I'm not showing that to a 7-year-old. I mean, that's a
what's the proper age for Mel Gibson almost killing himself on camera
for a suicide scene?
Yeah, 12
probably.
That seems fair. Yeah.
Does that seem okay? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And it's an affecting scene. It's not just like I'm a bad actor, I'm putting a gun in my mouth. It's like you're watching him and you're thinking this man is going to shoot himself.
Yeah.
Right here in this little beach trailer. Yeah.
Imagine how much that scene would stick with you though, if instead of Mel Gibson it had been Shaq. Shaq and Danny Glover on an adventure. I would take that. I'll watch anything with Danny Glover in it. I don't give a shit. I love and
Danny
Shaq.
Glover. Well, I'm coming around.
I'm just imagining him with the gun in his mouth going, I'm going to shoot myself. I miss my wife. She's dead. I'm going to shoot myself in the mouth. Okay, I've changed my mind.
Instead of a dog, he's got a basketball with a face drawn on it. He's got like a Castaway vibe going on. Wilson.
Yeah, I would watch. I think any movie with Shaq, at least for a minute. Probably not the whole thing.
I'm not sure I can go here with you for realsies, but I like this conversation. Mm-hmm. What about a horror movie with Shaq? Like, what's a horror movie you know? How about Alien? Alien, but Shaq is in it.
Well, who is he replacing Sigourney Weaver?
Yeah, because I want to see him in his skivvies in a tube. That's a dream of mine.
Yeah, no, I'd watch that. That sounds good. Shaq and Avatar, that would be good. That's the only way you could actually make that movie watchable.
Oh, I hate Avatar. I never, and I like James Cameron movies in general, but I never saw Avatar, and I know it's like
You never saw it?
I never saw it until recently.
It sucks.
It's bad. It's not fun to look at. It hurts to look at, I think. Visually, I went and saw it in the theater. Okay.
With the 3D and everything.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if I have to watch this movie, and this movie was specifically made to be 3D, I'm going to go see it in 3D.
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
Didn't make it a good movie.
No, it
was the script's bad, the acting is bad, everything's bad about it. I don't know why people like it.
I don't
And they're
either.
making 80 more of them.
Really? They are?
Yeah. There's 4 more scheduled to come out.
No, Christ. No, we don't need that.
They just took so long because James Cameron is a psychotic person who goes, I can't just use the technology that exists.
I like Star Wars, need to invent shit.
In 10 years, I think the technology will be caught up for a second Avatar movie.
God damn. So okay. The one thing Avatar had going for me for it is anytime. Well, I like Sigourney Weaver, and I like Sigourney Weaver even more when she's in a science-y situation. I love that shit. So any of the tubes and people in pods and stuff, I'm good. I'm there. But the rest of it, which is a lot, is I hate that movie. Okay, anyway though, but James Cameron movies though. I watched The Abyss recently. And I got to be honest here. I think I had The Abyss and Sphere. Do you know the movie Sphere?
I have no idea what either of these movies are.
Okay, so The Abyss is another James Cameron movie. It's an underwater movie. Spoilers for The Abyss with aliens. Okay. So it's Ed Harris. I cannot remember the female lead's name because I don't think she was in a whole lot. And
we'll call her Laura.
Okay, and Laura. And basically they're in this giant ship at the bottom of the ocean. And they have to go down really deep. And there's a lot of I don't know if you remember this from maybe our early childhood. There was a lot of like underwater robot stuff.
No, I didn't run into a lot of underwater robots when I was a kid.
I feel like in media, there was at some point, maybe it was in the 80s, that there were a lot of like remote control underwater robot situations. Right? And so that a lot of The Abyss is that. It's people controlling underwater robots, people in these like little like ships underwater and this big gargantuan ship underwater, and then they get really deep into the ocean, and there's subplots happening with nuclear weapons. Well, I guess that's the main plot, but then there's also aliens, and it would have been awesome, but they really didn't need the aliens. And I'm a science fiction person; I like science fiction a lot, but this movie didn't need aliens. I'm just saying I
don't want you to take this the wrong way, but that movie sounded like straight dookie.
It was 75% good to me. Yeah.
It's probably not a movie I'm ever going to want to watch.
No, you wouldn't like it. I don't think you would like it.
Unless someone deepfaked Shaq into that.
Oh my God. Well, I think the proper way to do that is to get to the bottom of the Marianas Trench, and who appears? Not aliens, but Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah. Oh, hey, this is the Marianas Trench. Welcome to the Abyss.
And he takes your
abyss.
And as you run out of air, he takes your hand and lifts you toward the surface.
Let me free throw you up there. No! We'll never make it.
Just believe. I don't know what Shaq talks like, but yeah.
Oh man.
So the movie I had that confused with is Sphere, which it comes later and has Dustin Hoffman in it and Samuel L. Jackson's in it and several other people. And it's another underwater sea mystery movie, but very different. And I haven't seen that in a long time. But in my mind, they were the same movie, and they're not. They're two different movies.
Okay, now, this is an important question here.
Okay.
Which one is better?
I don't know, because I need to see Sphere again. Right now, I think Sphere is better than The Abyss. Why? Are you looking at Rotten Tomatoes or something?
So, Rotten Tomatoes.
God damn it.
The Abyss had a pretty strong, I believe, 80%.
Okay. Shit.
89%.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, now you have said that you believe Sphere was the better movie.
But I haven't seen it in a long time.
No defending here. Would you like to guess the Rotten Tomatoes score?
Oh, 20-something.
You're shooting too high, bud.
What? No. What is the score?
11!
Oh, no.
11!
Oh, that's awful.
That means 11% of critics went, I guess it's fine.
Okay, so Abyss is clearly the superior film. Can you see when they came out? I think there's a big gap in when they came out.
Sphere is...
80-something, right?
The Abyss was 89.
Okay, the Abyss is 89, and Sphere is 90-something, right? 96.
Yeah, I think it was 98.
98. Okay. So
Hold on.
That's a big gap.
It was February 13th, 1998.
There you go.
Directed by Barry Levinson.
Oh, Barry Levinson does good stuff, but not that apparently.
Yeah. Barry Levinson. According to IMDb, he's an Aries. So there you go. That's all the information you need to have here. I'm sure that means something to someone somewhere.
That's all I wanted to know.
I think I'm an Aries.
Yeah, you probably are. I don't know. I'm a Scorpio. Yeah.
I believe that... so back in the before times...
Yeah.
When I worked in a place with people...
Yeah.
I had coworkers who believed in astrology stuff.
Right.
And they would always say, "What are you?" And then I'd have to look it up because I could never remember. And then every single time, the response would be, "That makes sense. You're such an Aries." Or whatever I am. I'm like 98% certain it's Aries.
Okay.
And I would go, "Well, why?" And the answer was always, it's just such an Aries thing to do. So I still don't know what that means.
I think I can only imagine that really bugged you. Or maybe it didn't bug you, but it just made no sense to you, right?
Oh, it's all nonsense to me.
Well, sure. Astrology, newsflash. I don't want to offend anybody, but it is nonsense.
Any of these, I'm labeling myself
Yeah.
as one very specific thing based on minute information is silly.
Well, I think in particular when it's stars, which have nothing to do with anything.
Well, it's stars and birth dates. You got birth dates in there.
Yeah, well, sure. The positions of the planets and all that jazz. It means nothing.
It's not the worst judge, I guess, but it's definitely not the best.
Wait, can we establish an official sushi jackknife position that we don't believe in astrology?
Oh, I don't want to commit to that.
You don't want to commit to that? Okay.
Look, so 2020 was crazy.
Yeah, sure.
First week of 2021, Snoop Dogg is randomly feuding with Eminem. Then Dr. Dre has an aneurysm.
I didn't know that.
Then someone
happened.
tries to rob Dr. Dre's house while he's in the hospital with an aneurysm.
What?
Then our president starts an insurrection.
Science a riot? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if by the end of 2021 I'm gonna believe in astrology or not. Like you have no idea at this point. It's going.
Yeah.
The simulation's broken.
Yeah. Well, you know about these theories, right? About ancestor simulation theories. Have you heard about this?
Only a little bit. I don't listen to Joe Rogan.
No. It's not. I mean, it is. It does come up on Joe Rogan, but it's also a legitimate like physics theory, right? Like, I won't deny it has come up on Joe Rogan, right? But,
of course it has. It sounds like white guy nonsense. Of course it's been on Joe Rogan.
Yeah. White high guy talks to non-high white guy, smart guy, and loses his shit. But yeah, it's a real theory. I don't know a lot about it other than the idea that I don't know, we're actually living in a simulation, which
that's about what I know. Yeah.
Yeah, there are some ideas about it, and it's because you can. It's something about being able to map the data of reality onto a two-dimensional plane or something. I don't know if that's directly related. But yeah, and so therefore, and it's really not crackpot bullshit. It's one of those things that gets picked up by stoned people and talked about in such a way that it just sounds really, really dumb. But that's what I don't know. I don't know how to talk about it intelligently.
Well, do we know anyone who believes this?
I think I don't know that they believe it. I think it's an idea.
No, I want someone who believes it.
I don't know of anyone who believes it.
We need one person who believes this to guest on the podcast and try to explain this to me in a way where I don't think it's the dumbest idea I've ever heard of.
Well, okay, so it
sounds like a James Cameron movie from the 80s.
I know. It sounds worse than The Abyss, but better than Avatar.
It's probably like a solid 55 Rotten Tomatoes.
I agree. No, it's unlike Flat Earth, right? Which is just stupid. Insane and stupid, right? Unlike
easily
Flat Earth,
disprovable.
Right. like, hey guys, we can fly shit out into space and see that it's a ball. We live on a ball, and there's lots of other balls. Unlike Flat Earth, the Ancestor simulation idea is a real idea. That's all I'm trying to say.
Well, Flat Earth is a real idea.
Well, but
it's a
Ancestor,
dumb idea, but it's real. It exists.
It exists. But what I'm saying is Ancestor simulation. I don't know enough about it to explain it, but there are smart people who think it's a plausible theory. That's it.
So now you're saying that Flat Earth proponent rapper B.O.B. isn't a smart person? Is that what you're saying?
That is what I'm saying, yes.
You know, I haven't heard the latest about him raising money to build his own satellite to prove that the Earth was flat.
That's right.
I also haven't heard any scientific ideas of how he was going to orbit a satellite around a flat disk. I don't know how that...
You know, it's not so much of an orbit as like a rectangle, because you get to the end and then you drop off real fast, and then you're back. Then you're underneath the Earth.
Okay,
and you pop up on the other side.
Maybe there are two ways this could work. Okay, so here are my two flat Earth orbiting ideas.
Okay.
Number one is the Super Mario idea.
Okay.
Specifically Super Mario Brothers 3. I don't know if you ever played this.
It's been a while, but yeah, I did play it.
There are levels. I believe it's on Super Mario Brothers 2 as well. There are levels where if you walk to the right and go too far, you'll come along to the left again. Like it just puts you all the way around. So if you send a satellite above flat Earth and it gets to the edge of the flat Earth, it's just going to go off the screen and come back to the other side of flat Earth. The other theory I have is the DVD menu theory.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's been a while since you've used a DVD, I would assume. But
actually, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. Yeah.
You remember when you pause it and it goes to the screensaver and it has the DVD thing that bounces around the screen?
Yeah.
That's what a satellite does.
Oh,
it just bounces around in this rectangular space above the Earth.
That sounds right. That sounds like what happens. Yeah.
Those are the only two options for flat Earth orbiting.
Bouncing.
Yeah. And the noise it makes is boink.
It makes the Pong noise every time boink. You bloop, 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 bloop. Yeah, there needs to be no more discussion on Flat Earth. It's just bizarre.
Has Joe Rogan talked about Flat Earth?
I don't know. I don't listen to it enough to know. For realsies, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's come up. I'd be surprised if it hadn't come up. I don't think he's a proponent of it, but I'm not here to defend Mr. Rogan's character.
Oh boy,
that's not my purpose.
That's good. That would be a huge waste of your time.
Yeah.
I just pulled this theory up on Wikipedia, and let me tell you, any theory for life,
yeah,
that has a whole section about how a dream could also be considered a type of simulation capable of fooling someone who is asleep. I'm out.
Wait, you're talking about Ancestor simulation?
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think. Again, I'm not informed enough to really have a discussion about it in an intelligent or not intelligent way, as the case may be.
Yeah, but that's never stopped Joe Rogan.
Well, true. Though
man, I have busted on him so much tonight.
You love to bust on him.
Well, it's because he sucks as a human and podcast host.
I think the problem is neither of us are stoned, and so therefore... we're not prepared to discuss these ideas.
He might be okay as an MMA host.
I'm sure he's
I don't really know.
I
have no frame of reference there. But as a human and as a podcast host, not great.
How do we rate on that? Because we are also those things. Not MMA commentators. I'd be terrible at that. I'd be like, oh boy.
He sure hit that guy in the face.
Whoa.
with his arm parts.
So Roy hipped me to the guy that got hit with that. What did he get smacked with? That tea or what was it? Like
I have no idea.
Mike's Hard Lemonade or something. Fuck, he's gonna be so mad at me that I don't remember what it was. But yeah, got smacked in the face with a can. Like this guy. I don't know exactly what was happening, but this guy was in a convenience store somewhere in America and was just being a dick. It looked like he was refusing to wear a mask. I don't know. And he kept saying to people, like, smack me in the face, twisted tea. And this dude took a big, like a deuce can of twisted tea and just laid him out in the face with it. It was amazing. And then there were remixes of it with, the tea hit as the time with songs.
Do we know where this happened?
I'm not sure. It didn't specify.
I get strong Fort Lauderdale vibes.
I know you do.
Very strong Fort Lauderdale vibes.
I mean, Twisted Tea. Uh-huh. Twisted Tea alone.
How many sleeves were on the men in this story?
Fewer than there were arms.
Yep. Fort Lauderdale.
The Twisted Tea capital of the world.
We're never going to get a Twisted Tea sponsorship now.
Well, yeah, it's true.
Tonight, I have ruined our chances of ever being on Joe Rogan's podcast network.
Well, I thought we've been shitting on him for a long time, Nathan.
Yeah, no, I know.
Okay,
but like I feel like I've done it more tonight than any other podcast.
You have brought it up repeatedly. Yeah,
but it's just because he's dookie.
What is your beef? Well, I mean. It is like the most popular podcast.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where, and this happens a lot in things. People have decided that it's way smarter than it really is. It's not that smart.
No, it's not that smart. No, agreed. Yeah.
Just because you invite a physicist onto your podcast, like 2% of the time,
yeah, right.
Does not make it an incredibly smart podcast. You also have had Alex Jones on multiple times.
Yeah, you're not doing much for your credibility there.
You're balancing things out real good. Like, here's a physicist. Here's a guy who thinks everything is a false flag.
Right, yeah, exactly.
He probably thinks that the Blockbuster bankruptcy years ago was a false flag by the government to distract him so that Netflix could slowly take over our minds.
That sounds, yeah, you got him pegged.
So, it's not that smart a podcast. That's my issue.
That's your issue.
Don't pretend things are smarter than they really are.
Sure, well, I really think it boils down to high people talking to each other. I mean, the physicists aren't always high. I'm not saying everybody that goes on Joe Rogan is high, but, like, he's high, and his questions are the questions of a person who is high. You know, like, it's just not the way that normal brain goes.
One thing I do find amusing about Joe Rogan, and it's not about him at all,
Okay.
but about the podcast.
Yeah.
Is the people who listen to it that are more liberal-minded,
Right.
are always going, oh, these people think that Joe Rogan is alt-right. That's ridiculous. But then the alt-right people who listen to it are like, oh, these people think Joe Rogan's liberal. That's ridiculous. So no one really knows what's happening.
Isn't that interesting? You're right. Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Everyone has claimed him.
Yeah.
Except me.
It's true. It's true. I will say the one really good thing that, because we talked about, you're mentioning physicists, and I've said before, those are the ones I listen to the most, right? Mm-hmm. The one thing it did for me, his show, is led me to other shows. So, like, Sean Carroll is a physicist who's on, and who's I've read some of his books and stuff, and he has a podcast for several years now called Mindscape, and it's amazing. It's one of the best shows. It's one of my favorite shows for the last couple of years. And he's a physicist, and he doesn't always just talk about physics stuff. He brings people on from all over. Really, it's usually academics. It's not always academics, but it's never comedians or anything. It's like almost always academics. There have been a couple musicians on, but other than that. But it's not always about physics. Like, he's had historians on, and he had a sommelier on one time. You know, just a wide variety of stuff. A lot of, like, political theory.
Wait,
it's a
hold on.
great show. Yeah.
What do you do on a podcast with the sommelier?
That was a fun one. I mean, they drank wine and talked about it. This was pre-pandemic.
That doesn't seem like a thing that carries over to an audio medium very well.
Well, I mean,
were they loudly slurping it so you could be there with them?
No.
That's good.
I mean, to be fair, this is the podcast where we've eaten strange things right into the microphones.
Yeah, well, I didn't say it was a good idea then either. I'm not advocating for ourselves.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, exactly.
So if Joe has done nothing else, he's led me to some good places. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, okay. I'll lay off Joe for the rest of the podcast.
I will say, this is my last thing. It's real, if you listen to him, it's real easy to get off track and just spend your brain time thinking about the wrong things. You know, like, if there's some alternate archaeology or some bullshit. Like,
see, that
we don't need that. Like, we need to there are big problems. Like, okay, that's entertaining, but let's not get held up on some possibly crackpot shit about, like, which city came first. Who fucking cares? That's what I'm saying.
I think it was Seattle.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Seattle was first.
The Space Needle rose out of the ground.
The Space Needle is actually one of the oldest. Well, I was going to say human creations, but it actually came from aliens.
Ah, that makes sense.
It was an ancient aliens creation, but it's
space.
It's one of the oldest. One of the oldest artifacts on the planet.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a fact. Look it up. Don't look it up. I mean, the government's going to lie to you. If you look it up on Google, obviously Google is trying to hide the real results from you. You have to look it up on one of those alternative search sites. Anyway, so that's how you join QAnon.
There we go. And wait 10 minutes and find yourself in a weird internet cult.
Oh, man.
Wow.
So, before we started recording today, did you see the big news?
Which big news, Nathan?
Well, okay, let's go through all the big news real quick, and we'll get to the latest big news that I wanted to talk about. Okay, so we had...
Great.
Ted Cruz and his lunatics, and the Josh Hawley, the guy from Missouri.
That's the one I wanted to mention, Josh Hawley. Maybe the most dangerous human being in America right now, besides Donald Trump. Okay,
so they, before Congress was going to certify the Electoral College results, went to a rally, and we're like, yeah, you guys need to fight for your rights, blah! Okay, so then... and Donald Trump also did this, and Rudy Giuliani did this, and everyone did this. So then, that group decided to fight a bunch of people and fight their way into the Capitol, because who could have seen that coming after you told them to do that?
Yes.
It makes no sense. You weren't expecting that, right?
Right.
So then, after... someone gets shot and a bunch of people end up dying. We're at like 5 now, right? That died from it.
Last I heard, yeah.
They finally get enough of these lunatics to run away to finish voting, wherein most of the people who had backed Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz went, oh, we thought we were just playing a political game, but it turns out that like people actually listen to things we say, so I don't really want to do anything crazy anymore. Let's just vote yes. Okay, so this has led to our current president. By the time I'm done recording here, maybe not anymore.
Yeah, maybe not. Let's hope. Jesus,
losing his mind more than he'd already lost his mind. Which is quite a feat. I mean, really.
Absolutely, it is.
Can we think about how big a feat this is? Becoming crazier than the craziest person in the country.
Yeah. It's like the snake eating its tail, you know? It's that thing.
Okay, so Barry Bonds holds the single-season home run record in baseball with 73 home runs. It would be like if the next year Barry Bonds hit 140 home runs.
Doubling his record.
Right. And everyone's like, wow, I didn't know a person could be more home runny than that, but he really is. So this week, Donald Trump has hit 140 crazies.
Yep, that's right.
So, before we came on today, because, I need to back up before we get to this. So Crazy Pants it was nowhere to be found while there's a riot happening at the Capitol.
Right.
So, finally people are like, hey, you really ought to do something. And he puts out a couple tweets that are like, hey, guys... So the election was stolen from us. Anyway, try to be nice. Bye. And everyone's like, that's not enough, bud.
Right.
And so then he puts out a video where he's like, okay, I'm not going to be president. because they stole it from me, blah, 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 blah. And that's still not enough. Twitter has permanently kicked him off of Twitter.
What? Okay, so last I heard, he was banned for, 12 hours or something?
Yeah. No, he's permanently banned from Twitter and Facebook.
Thank Christ. That's the best news.
So, if anyone wants to go see what Donald Trump has to say about anything, I believe there's probably a new Parler account set up.
You can find him on eHarmony.
He's just going to be posting to random Craigslist pages in the missed connections, just going, I missed a connection with the victory that I rightfully earned because of my 8 billion votes I got.
He's in some chat room somewhere going, ASL, question mark?
Mm-hmm. I think because we just need, it's 13 days from the day we're recording before he's gone.
Right. Which is also a great movie about the Cuban Missile Crisis. Anyway. It's called 13 Days. Anyway, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, that's it. Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
13 Days.
Uh-huh.
Cuban Missile Crisis.
Who does Kevin Costner play in it?
Not the president. That's Bruce Greenwood, I think.
Now imagine if Shaq instead of Bruce Greenwood were the president in that movie.
Play President Kennedy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
I would watch any Kennedy movie with Shaq as JFK. What? I don't even remember what 13 days.
What the fuck? Yeah, 13 days. As of today, which is Friday the 8th, we're recording, yeah.
I think that someone in the White House just needs to go, no, they didn't suspend your Twitter. Everything's fine. And then just open up a blank Word document on a computer and go, it's just not working on your phone anymore. You just have to type your thoughts in here and hit tab.
And he spends 20 minutes figuring out where tab is.
Yeah. Like that, it's like I have a 4-year-old. When he is yelling and wants to play with my computer, I just open up a random Word document and let him type his name a few times, and then he's fine. That's how we need to treat this lunatic. Just open up a Word document, let him type his angry mutterings a few times, and he'll be fine for an hour.
See, this is what people used to do. Like pre-internet. But post word processor, you would just bare your soul, into your floppy disks, and no one ever had to know.
Okay, so let him type his name a few times, and then watch an episode of Paw Patrol.
See, now that sounds like And once you watch one episode of Paw Patrol, you're definitely gonna binge the next 8 seasons.
Yeah, if he complains about Paw Patrol, just go, oh wow, you don't like the police dogs? I thought you supported the blue. And then he'll feel so guilted into watching it, he'll just keep watching it. I'm just kidding. There's no guilt. There's no guilt with him. That's ridiculous. The only part of this idea that's ridiculous is that he might feel guilt.
To be fair, Trump's favorite Paw Patrol dog is the dictator, autocrat Paw Patrol dog. I think his name is Vlad.
Vlad Mussolini, the Paw Patrol dog?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep. He drives a little tank.
Oh, I don't know. I know that people thought 2021 was going to be different.
Oh, yeah.
They really wanted
lots of people did.
I mean, we wanted it to be.
Of course we did.
We wanted it to be a clean shut off.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think things may just spiral out of control for a while. And then the Earth might get hit by an asteroid and we'll all go extinct.
Well, that is certainly an option.
Yeah.
I mean, asteroids are a thing we should be worried about, probably at some level. But it's highly possible that we don't even get to the asteroid stage. And by the time, like, a planet killer asteroid hits us, we're already all fucking dead anyway.
That seems possible.
Right, because we just can't get our shit together. It's a real problem.
Yeah. At the risk of people thinking I'm both sidesing this, I want to say something.
Okay, please,
now,
please do.
I want to clarify before I say this. I'm not both sidesing this. The idiots who stormed the Capitol are terrible people.
Yeah.
Terrible people.
Right.
With that said, let's take them out of the equation. Let's ignore all the QAnon people.
Yeah.
There are a whole bunch of right-wing people right now. They're acting the same way that they're coming out of it, but acting the same way that the Democrats that were in denial about Hillary Clinton in 2016 acted. And everyone on the right made fun of them, right?
Sure.
And then now everyone on the left is making fun of the right-wing people who are acting the same way, going, there's got to be some way. Although on the right wing, there is the addition of God told us that this would happen, which is very funny. God came to me in a dream and told me that a thrice divorced pussy grabber was the one who was going to really lead us back into the moral place that we need to be as a country. And by that, I mean no black people.
Yes.
It's so it as a person who hates party politics, I'm very against all parties. I don't like them existing, except for Kanye's birthday party.
Well, obviously.
Because he ran under the birthday party, and I think that's the greatest name for a political party ever. I see both sides. Basically, I feel like it's going to be a thing where forever people just flip-flop this feeling back and forth.
Like we're going to trade.
Yeah.
This because we so don't understand each other.
Mm-hmm. No,
is that what you're saying?
Not just not understand each other, but don't care to understand each other.
Yeah, right.
It's tribalism.
Yeah, it is.
It's the reason I don't like party politics. Like, even though I very rarely ever agree with Republicans.
Yeah.
Very rarely. And if you're a Republican listening to this, I very rarely ever agree with you. But stick around for the last part of this statement because you'll feel a little bit better.
Okay.
A majority of them are not doing anything malicious when they have a belief. I just don't agree with their belief politically. I have to think that a majority of all people on the political spectrum, a vast majority, have no malicious intent or aren't saying they're going, well, I'm only looking out for me. But no, everyone thinks that the other side is the Empire and they're in Star Wars. And sometimes you're not in Star Wars. Like, sometimes that's not a thing. So sometimes you're just in a very anticlimactic indie drama where there's not really a good guy or a bad guy. It just happens and then it ends. you know what I'm saying?
Change? I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Not every so the people, again, I've taken them out of here in this conversation. QAnon people are a whole separate category. They're straight bonkers.
Well, yeah, for sure.
But removing them from the conversation, I don't know. I don't see a lot of reason, even with a Joe Biden presidency coming, to feel positive about how things are going to go.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
I'm very pessimistic.
I think, I mean, it's a return. It's a return to. It's certainly better than what's been happening.
In the we won't get into a nuclear holocaust category.
Yeah,
that right. I feel optimistic about. We're in much better shape there.
Sure. Right.
Is
it going to solve all problems? No.
Well, it's going to solve next to no problems, is my thought on the polarized country issue.
Right. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's hopeless at this point. Yeah. Now, I see your opinion. I don't.
Okay.
I feel like. Yeah. Go ahead.
You are a Democrat-y person.
I'm a liberal. I don't know if I'm a. I mean, I would almost certainly vote Democrat most of the time because I don't have other options. Really.
Right.
Yeah.
But is your gut reaction most of the time when you see a Republican talking to immediately go, ugh?
Not if they're salient. Like I'm willing to entertain people's, legitimate viewpoints on things. Like that's not where I get off the train,
But where is the cutoff for legitimate viewpoints?
Well, I don't know.
I'm not advocating for any of their positions. Again, I don't believe that they're right on most things.
Oh no, I know. I mean, we have to identify, like, they would have to at least agree with the basic idea that a lot of this is just racist, right? Like, they would have to go that far with me. If they denied that was a major part of all of this,
and this is
that's
a fair stop on the train,
right? Like that's a deal breaker. Like
right.
If you don't see this whole thing as racist, I don't know where you're coming from. Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't see it all as racist, though,
yeah,
I'm just devil's advocating here.
Sure, yeah.
Because it's all super racist.
Clearly.
Before I go into this, I'm going to explain to you my frame of mind this entire week.
Okay.
So before all of this happened, I was like, I'm going to go get a new audiobook to listen to while I work. Right.
Yeah.
So when I'm working, I can't listen to audiobooks that are fiction because I can't really, I have to have something I can kind of pop in and out of. And if I'm listening to fiction, then I'm going to miss something important and then be confused about the plot. So that rules all that out.
Yeah.
And I'd just done a memoir. So I was like, I don't want a memoir. So I was like, well, this book looks interesting. And it was a book about about how the American church has contributed to racism.
Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds right. Yeah.
All right, so I'm like, well, this sounds like an interesting book. And it turns out, as you might have guessed, it's a super depressing book.
Uh-huh.
It's
Real
not the
bummer.
feel-good read of the year. Okay. So I'm listening to this while I work. I'm going through, I think at that time we had gotten to Jim Crow era.
Okay.
Surprise, the white church, not super helpful. And
Wow.
and then I turn on the news, and there's a bunch of lunatics storming the Capitol.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, now I have to decide, do I want to listen to my super depressing book, or do I want to watch super depressing real life right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
What'd you do? What did you do?
I went back and forth. I finished the book today, and then I went right back to Jake Tapper to figure out what else was happening. So, anyway. So, reading this book, listening to this book, having grown up in the church, I was listening to it going, oh, this is super depressing. Not because of how bad the church was, which, again, very, very bad. When Billy Graham is one of the more okay figures
Oh, boy.
in the history, that's not a great sign.
Wow.
But the depressing part was when they got to the last part about what could be done. And
Yeah.
listening to it going, oh, well, none of that's ever going to happen. Because it's not. As long as... I mean, maybe over the course of like 100 years. But I'm very pessimistic on it. Because I know the people they're talking about. And
yeah.
I know the
Yeah.
people who will read it and go, well, they said Black Lives Matter. And that's a terrorist organization. So this book is not valid
boy.
anymore.
Oh, boy. Well, see, I feel like a huge part of the problem is just having elected officials that go along with this bullshit. Like, people are always going to have, like, regular people are always going to have whacked out ideas, right? And there will always be racists. We're not going to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's just going to, and they'll probably be a significant chunk because I think, unfortunately, it's something you have to overcome as a human being. It's not something you're built with.
Oh, no.
Right?
No. It's a learned thing. It's
Yeah.
not...
yeah.
I mean, well, I guess the best way in my head to put it is it's a counter-programming thing.
Exactly. Because we are tribal. I mean, this is the point I come back to a lot. We're just chimps. Like, we're just chimps with some DNA variations, right? Like, and chimps are assholes. Like, they're the worst primates. Like, if we had evolved from, like, silverback gorillas, we'd be a lot better.
And
or, like,
way
bonobos
cooler.
or something. Yeah, super cool. But we didn't. We evolved from the assholes of the primate tree. And, I'm not saying that everything is internal, but some things are. And I think a certain amount of tribalism, as we've been saying, is. And you have to... That's what's great about education. That's what's great about ideas like democracy and liberty, and symbols like the Capitol, is that they should inspire us to be better than what we start out as, right? So we're always going to have to fight this, but, like, hopefully, I don't know. At least if we could get back to not doing this type of shit, that'd be good.
Yeah, agreed. I just, I'm hearing that book and then seeing all this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can't agree with them. And they're never going to hear the other point of view.
Right.
Like specific... Well, and he'll never listen to it, but like my father-in-law, with this book, I'm like, okay, this is a person who denies that white privilege is a thing.
Right.
This is a book that goes through historically point by point. But as I'm reading it, I'm also going, okay, well, what would be the excuse for why this point isn't valid?
Right.
And able to answer that question very easily. So, that side's not going to listen to the liberal side.
Right. Yeah.
The liberal side's not going to listen to that side because obviously it's a different. I mean, it's not good when it comes to things like that specifically.
Yeah.
But because they're so based in that anything else around that may have nothing to do with race or anything like that is still going to get ignored because you go, yeah, but like you hate black people. So,
yeah, right. Well, so maybe,
it's hopeless. That's where I'm at.
That's an option. The other option is maybe there is some kind of middle way here where it's like, okay, I'm sure there are people on the right who just using myself as an example again, since you brought it up that way before, it's like I could have a conversation with, like there are certain things that I think, they're not so off base about. Like they're really, they've got a real hard on for personal liberty. And that's a thing. That's a real thing. Personal liberty is a real thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's something that I think is important. Yeah. So that's something we could talk about. I just think, and I don't think the left has done it to the same degree.
No, they really haven't done it to the same degree. But they have, like, as an outsider, this is how it looks to me. Okay. So there was Bush. You remember Bush.
HW or W?
W.
W.
Okay. Kind of goofy guy. Couldn't really say things real good, but was real good at getting into wars. That guy. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then there was Barack Obama. You might remember him. He's the one that's not white.
Oh, I
only
remember
one.
Him.
The only one.
The
only one.
In our entire history.
In the entire history of America, the only one that was even not transparent white.
Like, you mean like white as a thin sheet of paper?
Like shockingly ghost white. Like he's the only one that wasn't there. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And he came in with some crazy ideas. Like, hey, what if everyone got along, right? And what if we as a country did good things? Nuts ideas like that, right?
Yeah.
And so then the Republicans went, we like the Tea Party idea. Remember the Tea Party? Let's have a tea party. But they couldn't find a boat with tea on it, so instead they just took over Congress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And those lunatics were like, we're never going to do anything with that side. Okay. So then Barack Obama continues on for a while. And then he's done. He can't do anything anymore. They won't let him, even though we want them to. And so we elect an overgrown Oompa Loompa. And the overgrown Oompa Loompa comes along. And because he's a crazy lunatic, and he has a bunch of sycophants following him around in his party, everyone from that party is then no longer considered valid.
Right.
And so then less the actual politicians and more just the general mob of the world. Every time anyone from that party that, again, I very rarely have ever agreed with them on anything. Anytime they say anything, the mob goes, yeah, but your Oompa Loompa's in charge. And then they yell. So it just seems like we're in a weird spiral of whose turn is it to yell now? I think it's our turn to yell. And so since Joe Biden got elected president, the Oompa Loompa children decide it's their turn to yell. And so they're yelling now, and then the QAnon people are like, well, we're crazier, so we're going to yell way different than everyone else. And
we're going to yell special.
Right.
Yeah.
We're better at yelling. Watch us yell. I'm going to yell right through this plate glass window.
In cubes. I yell in cubes.
Anyway. It's the depressing world that's in my head right now.
Well, I think that's very understandable. And you've laid it out very nicely. All I can hope for really at this point is that we go deep, deep, deep down into the Marianas Trench and find the peaceful aliens. Sushi Jackknife.
Is Shaq one of the aliens?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, then Sushi Jackknife.